Out of the mouth of babes, as the psalmist once said, inspiration can come from the most unlikely of sources. And on today's 5-minute sales training, Beth Berry is going to show us how to clarify our buyers' objections like a preschooler.
Overcoming objections is one of the most important skills a new home sales pro can master because it's literally part of every sales presentation. Why? Because it's a normal and natural part of any customer's decision-making process. In fact, show me a customer with no objections, and I'll show you a secret shopper.
You're a secret shopper, aren't you?
But overcoming objections, while it's super common, can also be intimidating or even a stressful part of our process, especially if we don't approach these situations with the right techniques. To illustrate, let me tell you of a story when I got taught a lesson about overcoming objections right over my own breakfast table.
Objection! I object!
The star of the story is not a master sales professional, and it certainly isn't me, but rather my son, Charlie Berry. Charlie was only 4 years old, and he had a horrible habit. You see, I would try to feed him a healthy breakfast, and he would not eat the healthy breakfast. And later in the day, because he had not eaten his healthy breakfast, he would ask for junk food when he was still hungry. Obviously, we can't have that. So let's talk about the objection.
You're really not going to eat anything?
On the morning in question, I tried to feed Charlie a new menu item. Along with his favorite, avocado, I put a whole grain English muffin. He quickly ate the avocado, and he left his English muffin completely untouched. The following conversation looked a lot like this. I said, "Charlie, will you please come eat your English muffin?" And he says, "No, thanks." And I say, "That's not a choice, buddy. Sit at the table and eat your muffin." And he looks at me just completely unfazed and big toddler eyes and goes, "But Mommy, why?"
But why?
I patiently reply with the first answer that comes to my cheesy mom brain, and it's, "Because I need you to get full of nutritious food so that I know you have enough energy to play all day long, darling." And he, completely unfazed, goes, "Huh." And then proceeds to start screaming and running around the table like a wild man, just waving his arms around. And when he's finally done with his demonstration, he looks at me and goes, "See, Mom, I have plenty of energy. Can I be done now?"
If anything, I've got too much energy.
Full disclosure, I only made him eat half the English muffin. You see, I might not be the type of mom who can inspire their kid to eat healthy, but I am the type of mom who can be darn proud when their kid overcomes objections like a champion. Let's look at 3 things that Charlie did really, really well when he was faced with this objection, and then let's apply it to a more common new home sales scenario than eating an English muffin. The 3 things that Charlie did well. Number 1, he was completely unfazed and he was not defensive. He was cool as a cucumber and curious as a preschooler. And the whole demeanor of not being defensive or nervous or engaging in any kind of combative tonality with me made me more open to having and engaging in a conversation with him. The second thing, and this part is what he did the best, he clarified my objection. When there was something that he and I were not quite seeing eye to eye on, Charlie got me to talk about it. And then after he asked for his clarification, he isolated the main concern that I had. In this case, it was his energy, and he addressed that issue.
Good, so we've solved it.
And then the third thing that he did really, really well, little sales prodigy him, he reclosed. So after he addressed my issue, he looked at me and said, "All right, now you can see my energy is up to par, and can I be done now?" Just that nice little touch point, that confirmation that what he did for his solution worked. And sales pros, when we get an objection, it can be really, really easy for us to do 2 things. I want you to think like this: no solving and no switching, not until we pull a Charlie. And that is, we need to talk this out and clarify the main concern for the customer. And by that, I mean, when somebody comes to you with an objection, let's just say that you're in a scenario where you are working with somebody and they tell you that the backyard is too small.
It's too small.
We're acting completely unfazed, completely curious, like Charlie, and we ask them, why? Why is this too small? And we follow up with asking them even more curiosity questions. And we find they've adopted a large dog with a lot of energy. And this dog needs to be able to run or else he's going to tear up their new house. Great news. We do not have a home site problem. We have a dog energy problem. And guess what? A dog energy problem, kind of like a Charlie energy problem, is a lot easier to solve than resizing or switching home sites. So instead of solving or switching, let's talk it out and let's discover the main concern, because that ends up being a much easier path to coming up with a collaborative solution. So as you're working with your next buyer and an objection comes up, channel your inner preschooler, remain unfazed, ask questions, discover the main concern, collaboratively solve with your buyer, and get them back on track with some confirming questions. And then repeat that process until you are able to find the right home and change your customer's world.
Hey, thanks, Mary Beth. And thank you for watching today's 5-minute sales training. If you like this video, hit that like button. It'll only take you a second. Make sure you subscribe as well. But until next week, learn more to earn more.